Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4 from the section Darwin of Advanced Institute of Technology.
We are going to explain and to demonstrate to all of you the sodium-potassium pump within the bodies.
What our body is needed for.
What it exactly is.
What are its components and more.
So what exactly is the sodium-potassium pump? It is a pump within the bodies of humans and animals that allows active transport to move molecules from a high concentration to a low concentration. These pumps in our bodies allows molecules that we need in our bodies to be transported and to be given to where it exactly need to be for necessary energy.
The sodium-potassium pump is a pump that is located in the cell or plasma membranes of almost every cell of our human bodies. What this means to say that it is somewhat like when a tornado is created, warm air and cold air transferring, making the wet unstable, thus creating a tornado. But with this, the molecules transfer from an area of high concentration to low. Therefore, it also won't need energy to happen.
Why exactly do we need these pumps, and why it is important to us? To sum up the text, the sodium-potassium pump is an enzyme found in the membrane of all animal cells. It performs several functions in cell physiology, of which the main highlight is the transport of molecules. I ask you, Jamie, why is there a need to transport these molecules to our bodies?
That question, this process is important for a variety of reasons. For example, in nerve cells, the sodium-potassium pump creates gradients of both sodium and potassium ions. Gradients are formed when you have an area of higher concentration next to an area of lower concentration. These gradients are then used to transmit electrical signals that travel along nerves. Without this process, the nerve cells wouldn't function. Now, what does all this stuff mean? Well, it means that the sodium-potassium pump, for example, creates sodium and potassium ions, gradients in nerve cells, and these gradients are commonly used to divide neurogenic regions into distinct functional domains in our brains, allowing our brains to function properly. We need sodium and potassium to help our body maintain fluids and blood volume.
Sodium-potassium pump system moves sodium and potassium ions against large concentration gradients. It moves 2 potassium ions into the cell where potassium levels are high and pumps 3 sodium ions out of the cell and into the extracellular fluid.
As per cell physiology, the sodium-potassium pump is of 4 different types in mammals. They all are isoforms but have unique tissue expressions and properties. The entire family is a part of P-type ATPase. Here is a list of the sodium-potassium pump functioned in the animal cells.
And those are only some of the functions of the sodium and potassium pump.
The next question on the agenda is how do these pumps actually work? As stated before in the video, the molecules move from a high concentration or into a low concentration area. In this process, ATP is broken down into potassium and sodium ions. A demonstration of how this works will be shown after.
In the process, the ATP turns into the 2 molecules that the body needs and will be then transported to a site of different concentration in order for it to be used for the body.
The sodium-potassium pump is an active transport mechanism that is driven by the breakdown of ATP. 3 sodium ions bind to the cytoplasmic side of the protein, causing the protein to change its conformation in its new conformation. The molecule becomes fast correlated at the expense of a molecule of ATP. The protein has a low affinity for sodium ions, and the three bound sodium ions associate from the protein and diffuse into the extracellular fluid. The new conformation has a high affinity for potassium ions, two of which binds into the extracellular side of the protein. The bound phosphate now dissociates and the protein reverts to its original conformation, exposing the two potassium ions to the cytoplasm and the inside of the cell.
As you can see in the video, here is the